your creative juices flowing. Come and see why AMP2 TV works with many major companies, including Comcast, Bravo, and Fox 29, as well as individuals and businesses of all types and sizes. To see samples of their work or to find out more, visit their website at amp2.tv. That's AMP, the number 2.tv, or call them at 866-224-5422. Feel free to call for a quote or just a consult of how to put your business on a social media platform or radio platform, or just doing a show that is covered by all platforms. Call 866-224-5422 and make an appointment. That's 866-224-5422. The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors. Welcome to the Lights in the Night Show with Russell Johnson, who wants to talk about and reveal what the United States government doesn't want you to know about UFOs and aliens right here in this country and around the globe. Russell has been following this material for over 50 years and will have guests who will tell their stories from around the world. Take down the number to call in, 888-565-1470, because Russell wants to hear your story. Our show also invites you to send your pictures and videos to UFO@amp2.tv so we can show them on our program at lightsinthenight.tv. Now, let's get to the Lights in the Night subject matter and hear what the government has tried to keep quiet for over 50 years. Again, get ready to call 888-565-1470 and watch on lightsinthenight.tv. Now, here's Russell with today's show.
Ladies and gentlemen, the call-in line is open at 1-888-565-1470. 1-888-565-1470. Visit our website at lightsinthenight.tv. Join our chat room right now. And now, Dr. Russell Johnson.
Well, thank you very much for being with us on this Friday evening. And I know a lot of people are caught on 95 down here in Florida listening. We have a captive audience, I think.
What, did something land on the highway?
It would,
did a saucer land?
With all that traffic out there, it would seem.
It would seem that something definitely is askew.
Yeah.
Christmas.
Christmas, yeah. How about
Landed.
that? And I think Zora is going to talk about Christmas in a second here. Well, thank you very much for being with us once again here on what we call the best station in South Florida. That's 1470 on the AM and 95.3 on the FM. We're talking about lights in the night, and we're talking about aliens. And according to statistics, 78% of the people, in some statistics, say that they believe that people have been abducted and that they believe that there's some kind of entity somewhere in the universe.
Wait, 78% of the people that they spoke to think that people have been abducted?
Uh-huh.
Do you think that's high? A high percentage? Or were you surprised by that?
No.
Were you surprised by that?
No.
Yes, actually.
I'm surprised by that.
Oh, you think so?
Just like typical, they're like walking down the street and they're like, hey, we're doing a little survey.
Yeah.
And they start talking, and the 78% of the people are like, yeah, I think people get abducted
Well,
all
they've
the
been
time.
talking about it since 1947 in a big way, since Roswell.
Yeah.
And then people do talk about, you got all those ancient aliens. You ever watch that? You watch Gaia with David Wilcock
I did, I watched it.
Corey Good. And you, especially with Beyond Belief with your friend, was it George Newray? And he's been, George, Art Bell, years ago, had millions and millions of listeners.
I would love to hear from people listening. Do you think, are you part of that 78%? I would love to hear from them to find out. I'm a little surprised. Like, I think that's a little high, 78%. And also, like, 100% think Men in Black, the movie, is real, correct?
I don't know whether that's a stretch or not.
So I would like to hear from people if you think, yes, there's been abductions, or you err on the side of there's definitely something out there. I'm just not sure if we have contact with them.
Well, there are billions and billions and billions and hundreds of billions of planets and universes out there. So who's to say that are we the only one? I don't know. We have Linda Jane Salinas with us.
Yeah.
And she's a psychic, intuitive, and she helps people to develop the psychic energy, and she talks to people who have gone on. You know, she's a medium, right? So, Linda, are you with us right now? Linda? She calling in from Canada? She's in?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Well, thank you very much for being on WWNN. Listen, you are psychic, you're medium, you are intuitive, and you guide and help people. Number one, how did you start? We're going to do it briefly because we got Zora coming back in a few minutes. So you'll be with us next week to do some free readings for us, so the people who want to call in and get some readings for the first of the year. Is that right?
Yes, that's
right.
True.
All right. All right. Tell me how you see things for 2019 as a psychic.
Well, there's a lot of positive stuff happening finally, which is lovely. It's been a difficult 4-year cycle for sure. There's a lot of technology that's coming our way and new stuff that we'll be able to access in a positive way. I think the most important thing for us to understand is that all this scaremongering that goes on all the time is absolutely ridiculous. And for sure, abduction happens, and it's generally for the people that have a good dose of alien DNA that are abducted, whether they're aware of that or not. We all have to be checked on and helped out and those kinds of things. And although it's not always a pleasant experience, the truth of it is it's a necessary experience in many cases. And I believe that that's a good segue into, us being able to accept these new energies around us for next year, which, they're new to us, have been constant for many, many years. But that's basically, this is the premise and the pre-runner to us all just basically having to get used to the fact that aliens among us have happened for.
And so there are plenty of aliens among us. How many species would you say happen to be among us? How many? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50?
I can't pretend to know everybody because I can only speak about the entities that I
Okay, you know the Pleiadians, the Greys, the Nordics.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so how many species do you have contact with?
Me, myself, probably a dozen.
Oh, a dozen, okay. Listen, so we want to talk about that next week, right? And you want to give some readings for people who want to call in free, right? To tell them.
I wouldn't mind too.
She wants one too. Okay, so Lena, her website is Lynda, Lynda, Jane, Jane, Selina, SELINA.com. So you want to just punch that up and take a look and see what she's doing and.
Yeah, and then definitely we could talk a little bit because you said something about alien DNA, and I want to find out what that means. And
excellent.
I don't know what that means. So she next week we'll stay tuned because we'll hear what alien DNA is.
So Linda, thanks very much for being on for a minute, and we'll see you next week.
Okay, thank you.
And your website is what?
Mine?
Yes.
It's LyndaJaneSelina.com.
Okay, and that's LYNDA. Thank you very much. Now, next is Zora. And he's from Hollow Earth. Do you know people living in Hollow Earth? Do you
I've heard of YouTube channels, I think from Zora actually too, that a lot about there's like the whole world inside.
So let me ask you this. So you heard about it because you're interested in the subject. So you started like Googling people and that's how you found it?
Well, I started watching Ancient Aliens.
Okay.
And slowly, like all those Gaia, and then somehow you get information here and there, and then you go YouTube here and there. Yeah, and then I was interested from when I was growing up in Russia, so my mom was intuitive too, and so I always believed because she talked about stuff, so I grew up believing it, and that's how it started.
So as you're watching, like, let's say Zora on YouTube, do you watch that and then you think, oh, that makes a good connection from something that happened a year ago and now I'm hearing this, and is that helping you make connections?
When you listen to everything, all this information, everything is connected. Everything, like the mediums, the God, the aliens, there is so much information, and it's all like a web.
It's big. It's really ubiquitous. It's all over the place. Yeah. Now, Zora, are you with us? Zora? Hello, Billy?
Hello.
Hello, how are you today? Thank you for being on WWNN. Thank you, sir.
Well, I'm wonderful. How are you?
Well, we're here. We're waiting to hear from you. Now, we have a lot of questions this time. Now, you say you were born in Hollow Earth. Is that right? Yes?
You're speaking to Zora.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I was thinking about Billy. Your son. Okay. So your son was born in Hollow Earth. Is that right?
Correct.
And you from Hollow Earth?
Yes.
Okay. So let's help us out. In Hollow Earth, there are cities, there are hundreds, thousands, millions of people there. They have a whole civilization in Hollow Earth. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. Any questions?
No, yeah. Any questions?
I heard actually there was some information that if there is gonna be something happening on the Earth, that the people whoever lives inside the Earth will help us. They're already doing some stuff like that, preparing.
The Agarthans are preparing to come to the surface and to bring new technology. Actually, rediscovered technology to the surface of the Earth, and also get everyone in preparation for what is termed the Gathering. And of course, the Gathering is a very important part of existence because it's a re-terraformation of the entire planet. And of course, when that transpires, then of course the population of the Earth will be removed from the Earth and into ships and into Hollow Earth, and there they will reside until what you call the expansion of Mother Earth or Terra Christa has finished. And of course, after that, then of course the population will be returned to the Earth, but the population will not live on the surface; they will live inside.
So, can I just back this up a little bit, because we have some listeners who might not really even know what Hollowed Earth is. So I don't want to jump in the middle of a story. Can I ask you a few questions just to clarify Hollowed Earth?
Go ahead.
Awesome. I appreciate that. People who are born in Hollow Earth, and there's hundreds of thousands of people
millions.
There, millions. How did they get there?
Well, many of them came from a continent that is no longer above the waters, and that was the continent of Lemuria. Lemuria was the circumference of Lemuria is the center of Lemuria was the Hawaiian Islands, and then the outlying areas that are still above water from that continent would be Australia.
All right, so the question is then, if Lemuria was here, Atlantis was here,
yes.
Where is that still in Antarctica? Is that because in Antarctica, from what I read the book,
Atlantis is the city of Atlantis is not in Antarctica.
Well, there is some activity in Antarctica. Is that right? Is I hear?
There's much activity going on there. Yes.
Yeah. Even President.
Because of the Titans.
Okay. Obama, Vice President Boot. What's the name? Joe Biden, the Pope, Putin. All of them went to Antarctica recently. What did they see? What is even Buzz Aldrin, the astronaut, he was there a couple of years ago. What are they finding? What's there?
They are finding a city that is beneath the ice. See, you understand that Antarctica at one time was what you call ice-free continent, and so the continent holds many what you call cities.
Inhabited? There are people living there now?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, they are not there. Many of them are in stasis. And understand, what I mean by stasis is that they are what is termed as the Titans, extremely tall beings that are in a stasis cylinder, and they are preserved.
So somehow
they are beginning to wake up.
So somehow this is discovered, and whomever from the surface goes down and they see these giants in cylinders and they're thinking, and spaceships, and they're thinking, what is this? And so now they're doing a lot of the exploration. How did they find this down in Antarctic?
Well, originally they found it by having what you call satellite imaging. Mm-hmm. Was how they discovered the outlines of structures underneath the ice. So then they sent a team down there, and they started uncovering them. But understand that it is meant to be that way. They were meant to be discovered, and because of the coming reunion with the surface dwellers and the inner Earth dwellers and the Hollow Earth peoples as well.
Mm-hmm.
So there'll be a time when
you have a reunion coming of all of the populations or what you call civilizations. You have 7 different civilizations beneath your feet.
All right. Now, your son. Let me ask you a question about Area 51. Area 51 is still in existence, and Grooms Lake and S4. Now, Area 51, you say your son was commander of Area 51 for about 10 years. Is that right?
Base commander, yes.
Basic commander. Okay.
For the U.S. government?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. But now he has come out and disclosed that he is, because that's supposed to be top secret, above top secret. And so now he took a hit for that. Is that right? What kind of punishment did he suffer from disclosing that he was commander of Area 51?
Lost the $5,000 a month pension.
Okay. He was a full colonel. He was a full colonel, right?
Indeed.
Right. Okay. So he is still talking about what's there, but the many people who have disclosed the fact that they have been visited by aliens, have interfaced with him, have worked with him. Some of the people who have disclosed that have they were under a lot of stress and strain, and they were threatened, their lives were threatened, to put it simply. Is that right?
Indeed.
Okay. So how is he handling that now? He's still continuing to talk about it.
Of course.
Okay.
Understand, they sent what you call emissaries to my beloved child's house when she lived in Mount Shasta.
Well, who sent emissaries?
Well, the government.
Okay.
They sent what you call the men in black, if you tell them.
See?
The 3 agents to the house, and of course, they knocked on the door, and my sibling opened the door, and they said that they were with the government, and could they step in, and she invited them in. And you have to understand that my beloved child is what you call hermaphrodite, so she is both male and female in one body. So anyway, but what transpired was that these people, there were 3 of them, two gentlemen and 1 female, dressed in black, sunglasses and all that, and they were sitting on her couch, and they were telling her to cease and desist from speaking about what she did at Area 51. And of course, my beloved child said to them that she was not worried about them. She was no longer in the service, and therefore she could speak as she wished.
So I remember they threatened to kill her, and obviously the guns.
They went on to the extent one of them, the female, pulled her weapon,
right,
pointed it point blank at my beloved child, and pulled the trigger, and nothing happened
because she was protected. Now, let me ask you about Dr. Stephen Greer, head of Project Disclosure. Now, he has pulled together some 250 people, top scientists throughout the world and heads of state. And as a matter of fact, he did a conference call, not a press conference, at the press club in Washington, D.C. about 5 or 6 years ago. You were there. Okay, it was the most watched press conference ever held in Washington, D.C. at the press club. Now,
indeed,
he is continuing his activity attempting to get the countries and individuals to make full disclosure about the aliens that have been here on the planet. How is that project coming along? As a matter of fact, he has a motion picture called Unacknowledged, and it's a DVD and it's a book and it's a CD. So that's a lot of information for people who want to continue to do homework. How is that coming out? How is that disclosure project coming along?
It is coming along. It is not being hindered by any of the government officials, because also the Galactic Federation also has Stephen Greer under their protection also.
Right. He was an ER surgeon for many, many years, and he stepped aside to do this project for the last 20 years, at least 20 years, something like that.
So if the Galactic Federation has him, like, protected status, so to speak, does our government know that he's being protected by them, so they kind of stand off because of that?
Well, they stand off because they know that they have no control over the entities that are protecting certain sectors of your population. Understand, your planet was a couple of years ago, several months ago, had an incident take place over Russia, and it was an asteroid. It was coming in on a collision course with Earth, and it was obliterated by the Galactic Federation. And if it had struck the Earth, we wouldn't be speaking, because it was 150 miles in diameter.
Okay.
Hit the Earth.
Let me get to another point, because I think we're running out of time. We only have about 3 or 4 minutes. As I see, the time goes fast on these kind of programs.
It sure does.
Right. But let's go back a bit. So the United States is not disclosing the fact that aliens are here, but countries like France,
every other country,
but France, Belgium, Argentina, Brazil, Mexico, and other countries have disclosed that. The United States refuses to make that disclosure. Why?
Well, because they think that they are protecting the population from this knowledge.
Why?
I have news for them. They are going to. There's coming a time when it's going to be undeniable.
Okay.
Because our fleet is in orbit around your planet, and they are soon going to be descending.
So you were saying, let me ask you one quick question. And Jennifer has a question. How many alien species are out there? Now, we have billions and billions and hundreds of billions of galaxies and planets in the universe. We are not the only persons here, according to some information I see from this book called UFO Encyclopedia. Now, how many different species of aliens? Some people say the Greys, the reptilians, the Nordics,
Well, you basically answered your own question. You said there are hundreds and billions of different planets. Then there are also hundreds and billions of different civilizations to go with them.
All right, so here's my question. It kind of got skimmed over, and
Go ahead.
So the fleet is circling the Earth now. Is this what's happening?
Well, we have what you call quite large vessels that are stationed around your planet, and they are doing what is termed as keeping the stability of the planet intact. In other words, there will not be a polar shift, because the planet is being held in its present state.
Okay.
And it will not flip on an axis or any of this.
Now, if they weren't there, would that be a problem? Would that be something that would happen?
That would be an issue, because remember the last shift that took place was when Antarctica went from a tropical continent to a frigid, frozen continent.
Well, speaking of Antarctica, there's a book that says that there's a lot of activity presently in Antarctica, and that's why Obama, and Joe Biden, and even John Kerry and Putin, because all of them they just left there. So what are they going to see? Not just they saying that.
I'm about to tell you if you.
Okay.
You may know.
Okay, 2 minutes. Wow.
Moment. Anyway,
need 2 hours.
The Titans are awakening, and when they are fully awakened, they will be teachers. They will also be. They have names that you are familiar with: Apollo, Zeus, Venus, Aphrodite.
Okay.
Those, what you call mythical gods of the Greek gods, are the Titans.
All right.
And
Listen,
are in
I
Antarctica.
think we have 1 minute left, believe it or not. That's it. Now, what for people who want to get more information about what you do and how you do it, what is your website? You got 1 minute. You got 30 seconds.
ZoraOfHollowEarth.com.
Zora at ApolloEarth.com. Is that what it's?
Huh? Zora at HollowEarth.com.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Great. Great.
Indeed.
I am so sorry. The time just flies when we have a lot of information, a lot of questions. But thank you very much for being with us, and we really appreciate it. So we'll catch you next time.
Yep.
What do
Thank
think?
you.
Right.
Yeah, Friday, 6 o'clock.
Yeah. So next Friday at 6 o'clock, WWNN, 1470 AM, 95.3 FM. Thanks for listening to Lights in the Night.
Thank you for listening and watching The Lights in the Night Show with Russell Johnson. Today's show can be seen on lightsinthenight.tv. And remember to send your pictures and videos to UFO at amp2.tv. And perhaps they will be used on the show. Join us next week as we bring you more information on UFO sightings and aliens that your government doesn't want you to know about. Keep the information flowing, and we will see you next week on The Lights in the Night Show with Russell Johnson.
You've been listening to Lights in the Night. Visit our website, lightsinthenight.tv.
The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.